this movie is not at all what it seems. The film is actually more in line with, you remember that movie called My Week with Marilyn, where, it was just about a guy who spent a semi-romantic week with Marilyn Monroe. That's essentially what this film is. It's definitely about Mr. Rogers, and he definitely has a very large role in the overall film. But mostly it's about this journalist who gets taught a lesson just by being around Mr. Rogers and, hearing the few things that he says and them spending time together. By the end of the film, he comes to a certain realization or something, and that's mostly what this movie is. So if you're looking for like a biopic or something like that, this may not be what you're looking for, but I do think that it's a really good film, and I highly recommend it despite this, okay? And I'm not telling you that this is like that one film to tear this movie down. This movie was great, but I don't think that the marketing has been clear about what exactly this is. So anyway, this film is the story of journalist Tom Junid, or however you say his last name. He was tasked with writing a puff piece on Mr. Rogers, and this journalist, he didn't think that Mr. Rogers was necessarily authentic or that he was real. He thought he was playing a character, and so when he goes to meet him, he realizes that Mr. Rogers is not only very authentic and genuine, but he's a lot more than what he may seem on the small television screen. Like I said earlier, I really enjoyed this movie, and that's largely due to the fact that the actors, who headlined this film, Tom Hanks and Matthew Rice, they really put their all into this movie, and we all knew that Tom Hanks was going to be great. Because he's great in everything, and we know just by the way he looked and his mannerisms in the trailer that he was going to pull this off, and he does a great job here. But who really surprised me was Matthew, who plays this journalist. Since the movie really does, really focus on him, he's really able to really get some impactful emotional moments out there. I mean, I was surprised by how many times I was sitting there like just really feeling this character and really relating to the issues that he was having with his family and everything. And even the way he was looking at Mr. Rogers a few times during their conversations, I was feeling the same way. Like, there's no way this guy is really like this. Like, what is his thing? Like, what's his deal? What's his deep dark secret? And you can't help but feel that way, because usually in real life people just aren't that nice. They're always looking for something. They always want some kind of recognition or something in return, and Mr. Rogers really wasn't like that. And so it's really weird to see a character or to see a person like him, and I feel like Matthew really was able to get that across, on top of the fact that he has some really powerful moments with his father, played by a really good Chris Cooper, and those scenes were very, very heart-wrenching, and they were very real. I know me personally, I could really get behind what was happening there, and I really enjoyed that. And again, Tom Hanks was really good. Tom Hanks was able to get the essence of who Mr. Rogers was. He doesn't actually look like him, and he doesn't really sound like him. Like, during the film, you're kind of looking at him like, okay, this is Tom Hanks playing a person. Like, that never really went away for me personally, but I did like what he was doing, and what he did do worked for me, even though I wasn't really able to separate him from Mr. Rogers, because honestly the eyebrows were just doing too much for me. But I still liked what he did here. And of course, none of this would have worked at all without the direction here being on point. There are so many small details here, from paying homage to the original Mr. Rogers show, to some of those original characters, even they make certain appearances here. Putting Tom Hanks into some real footage. I actually, after the movie, I went and I looked at some of the footage that was shown in the film. Like, did that actually really happen? Like, was he really on a talk show with that person? So that was really cool. And also, even like with the transitional parts, like when they're moving from city to city or from scene to scene, it's done in like a stop motion type style, like it is in the actual show. So it's those little small details that really help the movie be a lot more than what you would expect. You know, the trailers just made it seem like this is a guy who was just interviewing Mr. Rogers and, you know, whatever. And while it is that, it really opens up to be so much more when you really sit down and watch it and see those performances and see the message that it's sending about forgiveness and being able to trust people again and opening up and communicating. I mean, all of those things really blended well here, and I just really like the movie a lot more than I thought I would. Now, do I think that Tom Hanks is going to win an Academy Award for this? Probably not. There are some much stronger performances out there right now, specifically Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe in The Lighthouse. I don't see anybody being able to beat them just yet. But you never know. I think, if anything, he'll get a nod for his performance here. Matthew Rice might get a nomination. You never know. But overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I highly recommend it if you have not seen it yet. You need to go and watch this film. If not because you're a huge fan of Mr. Rogers, just because it's full of really good performances and it sends really good messages that I think that people need to see and hear. Have you seen this movie yet? Are you a fan of Mr. Rogers? Are you interested at all? Let me know in the comment section below, and if you have not done so already, go ahead and click that subscribe button so that you can get more content like this, which contains movie news, reviews, and reactions from your boy Derek right here at Anamanji. Don't forget to click that like button, and do not forget to click that bell notification so that you will know when I post again. That's all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay dope.